Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Word on the Street is with Michael and Gaby, where we mention it all about your favorite Bravo celebrities and the shows that they star in.
Hey everyone, we're back after a little hiatus. I was visiting LA because it was originally supposed to be BravoCon, and since that got canceled, we kind of created our own BravoCon in LA. We did all of Lisa's restaurants, including Tom Tom, Sir, Pump. We went to Vanderpump Dogs. We went to Sutton's store. We saw Muhammad Hadid in Beverly Hills. So we did kind of our own Bravo weekend. So that was super fun. So we have 2 episodes of all the shows to cover, as well as some Bravo news that has been piling up as well. So
Yeah, having fun is great, but the Bravo news doesn't stop and we need to cover it.
yes, it definitely has not stopped. So
So we have big news out of OC, and that is that Meghan King, Ixnay Edmonds, has married Cuff Biden, who is Joe Biden's nephew. It's his sister's son.
yeah, and now Jim Edmonds says that he has no connection to Meghan, even though they have 3 kids together.
Yeah, I'm like, did you forget the 3 kids under 5 you guys share? And he's like, she's a stranger to me. There's no connection. He is such trash.
He's so embarrassing, but we knew that. So
We also got the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip trailer, and it looks so iconic. I can't wait.
yeah, I'm super excited. The trailer actually looked more exciting than I thought it would be, just because I mean, it's a good cast. I just thought it could have been a little bit more of an exciting cast. But it looks like pretty much everyone's going to be fighting with Ramona, especially Kenya, but also Teresa. I'm excited.
I can't wait to see Kenya and Ramona get into it because we saw a little teaser of that in the trailer. And we saw Melissa and Teresa talking about like the drama with Melissa joining Jersey. So that's going to be really fun to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it'll be good. We have less than a month now, so I'm super excited.
And Mauricio is going to be there. I didn't know any husbands were coming.
I know that was kind of dumb to me, but whatever.
I'm not mad about it.
This Diamonds, Not All Diamonds and Rose book is really sparking a lot of drama
It
with
is.
like every city. And especially with New York, apparently there's a rumor that Lou, Ramona, and Leah all had a pact to leave the book launch event when Ebony showed up, which I'm taking that with a grain of salt. Like I said, I'm taking all New York rumors with a grain of salt because everything has been so wishy-washy. So I don't know that I fully believe that.
That event looked like so much fun. It was at Capital NYC, and our friend Dylan was there. Another friend who's been on the podcast, Matthew, was there. They were like taking photos with Melissa and Candace. And the amount of jealousy I felt, don't get me wrong, of course, happy for them, but I wanted to be there so badly.
Yeah, it was like a mini BravoCon, honestly.
It was, and I want to read that book. For those of you who don't know, Not All Diamonds in Rose by Dave Quinn just came out this week, and he's obviously a massive Bravo-holic like us, and he actually got to have so many like conversations with producers, housewives, and I think the book's a lot of really good insight into the world of housewives, and I'm really looking forward to reading it.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of tea was spilled and it's sparking a lot of drama. So maybe that will be good for New York since last season was a little lackluster.
Mm-hmm.
It also sparked up some drama with Sonia and Leah because apparently Sonia was talking bad about not only Leah's sister but also Tinsley in the book, and so they've both unfollowed each other. And potentially we're gonna get Tinsley back because I feel like that's a good kind of segue to get her back on the show, especially given that her and Leah are so close and they've been hanging out a lot in the off season.
Yeah, I was really surprised. I was really surprised to hear that Sonia was like just talking blatant smack on Tinsley and Leah's sister. That feels like random people to be talking crap on. But yeah, if that's going to be a segue into getting Tinsley back, if Tinsley comes in and Sonia leaves, I would love that.
Well, Sonia would stay because she's part of the drama. I actually, my prediction is that everyone stays and then we get 3 newbies or like two, at least 2 full-time newbies.
Do you think Bershawn will be made full time?
No, I
I,
don't think she'll be back.
I think she could come back as a friend of, but that's it.
Yeah, I don't think she had that big of an impact. I know a lot of people liked her. I was just like, she's okay. So probably our biggest piece of news is that Teresa is now engaged to Louie today. It became official. What are our thoughts on this engagement and this relationship as a whole? I know it's moved pretty fast.
Yeah, all I was going to say is hashtag too soon.
Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people are like super skeptical and comparing him to Brooks and whatever, but honestly, she does genuinely seem happy, and that's all I want from for her at the end of the day. I know, you know, he might be sketchy or whatever, but she does seem happy, so part of me is just happy for her.
Yeah, I agree. She seems like joyous to be with him. It's just some of the stuff that's come out about him is troubling to me. So uh,
Yeah.
I just hope that none of that history repeats itself.
Yeah, let's hope not. There's also, speaking of Jersey, there's rumors that not only Melissa from Jersey is going to be demoted to a friend of, but also that Dorit from Beverly Hills might be demoted to a friend of on the next season. Do you believe any of these are true, or which do you believe will happen, is more likely to happen?
I believe the Dorit being demoted to a friend of more than Melissa, just because, yes, I know Melissa hasn't had a storyline for a while, but she obviously has that massive family connection with being married to Joe Gorga. So I feel like the likelihood of Melissa staying on full time is higher than Dorit. But I could see
Yeah, I agree. I'd rather Melissa be demoted, but yeah, Dorit is more believable. And then finally, before we get into the episodes, it's reported that both Orange County and Miami are coming back in December. Which of those two are you more excited for?
I'm excited for both of them in really different ways. I'm excited for OC because it's like we're getting an all new cast for the most part. It's going to be really good. COVID Dodd is gone. Elizabeth Gross Vargas is gone. Unfortunately, Bronwyn's gone, but I think it was probably for the best. So I'm really excited to see the new dynamic. And then for Miami, it's like it's a different type of excitement because it's been gone for so long. It's something we didn't even think we were going to get ever again. So
Yeah,
I'm excited in a whole different way for that.
I feel like I know more of what to expect with OC, and I feel like Miami is a lot more unknown, and it's on Peacock, so that's kind of like hurting it for me. So I guess I would say OC, but I am more curious about Miami.
Yeah. And the newbies on Miami look like they're going to be so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
Like we already are following them on Insta.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I wish we were getting Jersey first, but oh well, I guess I can wait.
And
So I think we should maybe get into the Beverly Hills reunion first.
yeah, we're going to start with part one of the reunion.
The part one, we really just got right into the Erica stuff right away. And I have to say, I know a lot of fans hate Erica, but I do admire her because there's a lot of Beverly Hills housewives who, when things got tough, they just ran away and didn't show up. Adrian, LVP, Denise, and Erica didn't do that. And
No.
Erica is dealing with a lot more than any of them dealt with, and she's still showing up and not quitting. Maybe she needs the money, but hey, she's still showing up. So I do admire that.
Yeah, she's taking it head on. I'll give her props for that. And I love my girl LVP, but I thought it was total BS that she skipped out on the season 9 reunion. Same with Adrian, and Denise was always trying to run away. So I do applaud Erica for not doing that.
Yeah, and it was also just exposed that LVP, from a producer, that she did call Radar online about Puppygate. So not that that surprises me, but
Like
She's
the whole
such a liar.
she went to some serious lengths to lie to cover that up. Like a lie detector test, that's crazy.
And she like swore on her daughter's life.
I forgot about that. Oh my God. Pandy must be pissed.
Yeah, right. So there was a lot of drama this first part with Garcelle, including Dorit versus Garcelle. I kind of thought that Dorit was really not making sense. She, she was wanting Garcelle to be more direct, but then when Garcelle is direct, she's like, "Well, you're throwing jabs at me." So it's like I don't know what she wants from Garcelle. I mean, I do think there were times where like Garcelle did kind of just sit there and listen and not really like give her opinion, but I'm more so team Garcelle in this feud here.
Oh yeah, same.
We had a lot of drama with Garcelle and Rinna as well.
Mhm.
Garcelle threw out that Rinna said to somebody that she didn't want Garcelle to bring race into the show, which one, I really don't think, I'm not saying Rinna didn't say that. I don't think she would, just because they've been having a lot of open conversations about race, and Rinna has participated and been really open to talking about it. So it kind of would surprise me if she said that, where if it was like Ramona, I would obviously believe it.
Yeah.
And two, Garcelle's kind of doing the same thing to Rinna that Kyle did to her at the reunion last year when she threw that bomb about the whole auction thing. So I was like, well, I know that didn't feel good for Garcelle, so it kind of made me mad that she did that to Rinna.
Yeah, the whole Garcelle and Rinna thing is a bummer to see because they have been friends for a really long time and they like just have not been able to be on the same page since Garcelle joined Beverly Hills.
I mean, I wouldn't say that like Rinna's been a super supportive friend to Garcelle, but I feel like at the same time, Garcelle is holding a grudge.
So now we're going to move on to the reunion part two, and this part was very Erica heavy. My favorite line of Erica's was, "Sorry, I'm not angry. I'm just angry."
My favorite line was "nice tit, stupid bitch," and I couldn't find the space.
My other favorite line was when Andy named off the people who have said that Kyle cuts them off. He said like Dorit, so and so, and then Carlton. And Garcelle goes, "Who's Carlton?"
She was pretty irrelevant. So I have to say, though, I thought that Erica had a good reunion part here. Like, I really believed everything she said. I think Andy was asking the tough questions and she was giving really good answers. And I thought she was believable. And I mean, I'm glad that I've been holding out on her because I feel like now I'm like seeing this and I truly do. I am Team Erica. So
You always will be, Michael.
yeah, I know, but I
There,
feel like it was good validation, this part, for me at least. Like they talked about like social media, they're just saying like they're blaming Erica for everything. And it's like, well, her husband did it, first of all.
yeah,
And, she has to be more concerned about herself. I mean, Tom, like she said, he's 80 something and she's 50. She just turned 50. She has a whole life to live. His life is over. Like at the
yeah,
end of the day, she does need to be worried about herself.
yeah,
And then Kyle's friend saying like they could see the pieces of the dementia
yeah,
and how like, he just kind of sticks to those stories and tells them. So it does kind of seem like he's on, but that's
yeah.
only one scene, you
I
don't see
know, I
everything.
know. I was thinking about that and I was like, but I was thinking the same thing. When he was talking about John Wayne's brother, how iconic that scene was. But as Erica said, he was on a loop and he was telling that story nonstop. We were just
Yeah.
one time.
We saw it one time where we don't see everything, and that's what, like, this is an edited TV show. They're not showing everything that happens, and we're just seeing bits and pieces of it, so you need to take things with a grain of salt.
Totally.
I mean, I think the finances thing, okay, I sort of believe it, but at the same time I'm like, well, that's kind of your own fault with you're giving him your
Yeah.
paycheck.
Like she could have said no. I mean, granted, I don't know the dynamics of behind closed doors, but also at the same time, the only reason it would make sense to me is if he needed her money for like money laundering, which I think he was doing. But then that would show Erica has some sort of part in this. Like, why is my husband who makes millions asking me to hand over every paycheck?
Yeah, because then it's like, well, her money is going towards whatever he's doing,
Exactly.
but she's being, I guess, a little bit ignorant to what's happening because she's just letting him handle everything. But I don't think you're like, oh, you think the best in your partner. You're not gonna be like, oh, yeah, he's gonna use my money and do all this shady shit. Like you don't have that gut feeling, but you do need to be a little bit smarter, I guess. But again, it was a huge power dynamic between the two of them, and that's how their relationship worked since she was 27. And I think that's just what the reality was.
Can you imagine that being 27, marrying a 60-year-old like who looked like Tom? Not even like
Yeah.
Clooney looking 60-year-old.
Yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't say like Erica's in the clear. Like I know that whole like accident thing. I want to hear more about. Like there are some inconsistencies, but I felt like this part was really refreshing, and I felt like she was super open. So, and I actually saw a couple Bravo fans kind of change their opinion a little bit. So,
I know some people are feeling like this 4-part reunion's a bit drawn out at this point, like having
which I agree with. Yeah.
I personally can't wait for the next 2 parts.
Yeah, I have a feeling they're gonna save the best for part 4.
This episode was pretty damn good. Like Andy was
No, it was.
questions, and then like Kathy came out and we saw like finally some authenticity to Kathy, which we haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
And
That was a really cute moment between her and Kyle.
it makes, I mean, it sucks that instead of like picking up the phone and saying, Kyle, I'm pissed at you for X, Y, and Z, she just didn't talk to Kyle at all. That's the wrong way to handle it. But I could see why seeing that fight between Kim and Kyle would be upsetting for Kathy. Because obviously
Yeah,
Kathy and Kim are the closest out of the sisters. Kyle's kind of like the black sheep of the three of them.
true. And then we talked a little bit about Amelia and Scott, which was kind of funny.
Oh my gosh, that was so funny. And Scott's probably not doing okay because Courtney and Travis Barker just got engaged.
I think it was the right call for Amelia to break up with him. I mean, I don't think he was ever over Courtney. And Harry Styles is a fan of Beverly Hills, which was a plot twist that I did not expect.
I didn't see that coming. I didn't know that. I love that for him.
And the fact that Teresa was making him a birthday video is so funny to me. Do we want to move on to Potomac?
Yes.
Kind of continuing our trip to wherever the hell they are. I can never remember where they are right now. Can you remember?
No, I don't remember what this place is called. I just know Wendy's like the host of the trip, the husband there. So like those are the two main components that were important for me to remember.
Yeah, we had a continuation of the whole Mia and Candace salad tossing fight, which it was so, I think Chris was the funniest part of that for me because like, oh shit, not again. Like always having to like calm her down.
The way she has treated him throughout the show has been pretty rough at times. Like when she sent him those text messages saying like, you're a deadbeat dad, just like your dad and stuff. Like she's pretty nasty things and can just be really difficult in social situations. So gosh, I don't know how Chris does it.
Yeah, I forgot that she did that. Yeah, things got bad between them, but I do like their relationship. Then Giselle and Robin show up, and I was kind of here for Wendy getting her revenge on Giselle with the whole like bathroom thing. Like they didn't have a bathroom and they had to share a bathroom. And I'm like, well, you weren't gonna let Wendy go in your house and you're being petty, so that's what you get.
Yeah, it was definitely karma. And Was it petty? Yes. Was I here for it? Also, yes.
Yeah. I mean, Giselle was petty first, so
Well, Giselle's our messy queen. Like that's in her
yeah.
description is to be petty AF.
Yeah. But then like now they're like leaving to stay at a hotel and I'm like, they're just so annoying sometimes.
Is it bad that I understood why Giselle didn't want to go up and down all night with a boot on to use the bathroom?
Well, I get it, but what do you expect? You weren't even gonna show up. You were rude over text. You came late. Like, that's your own damn fault. Like, go stay at a hotel then. And then Robin just follows her.
Robin, oh my gosh, it's every season it gets to be like more and more like she just trails after Giselle.
Yeah. And it's like, because there's times I really like Robin, but then it just gets annoying.
Oh, I love Robin. Don't get me wrong. She's a follower of Giselle, but Robin is really funny to me.
No, I like her, but and then we had some more drama with Candace and Ashley. Ashley was saying that Candace can't be a civil human being, and I'm like, oh, you're literally married to Michael, who is constantly like grabbing people's asses and just being like creepy AF. So I don't really think you should be the one saying that.
Agreed. Michael is one of the worst housewife husbands.
Yeah, but it's also very apparent that that Candace is still holding this grudge um with Ashley over what happened last year with her writing that letter, and she's really just been taking it out on Ashley this whole season. So
Yeah, she's definitely hasn't let that grudge go. But Chris,
no,
the sweet guy that he is, I thought that was nice how he was like, hey, Ashley, like, I just wanted to say I still follow you on Instagram. Motherhood looks really good on you. Like, what a class act.
yeah, I really like Chris. I do think he balances Candace out, kind of similar to how Coach Shaw balances Jen out.
Yeah, except that Candace isn't a criminal that we know
Not that
of.
we know of. So should we move on to the most recent episode now?
Yes, let's move on to the episode of Potomac from October 17th this week. And the ladies are still on their vacation, and the producers did Wendy dirty with zooming in on her eating that shrimp.
They did.
I mean, I would never eat food like that with a camera anywhere in the
Yeah,
vicinity. So I
true.
probably wouldn't eat like that unless I was completely alone in my apartment.
Yeah, I would feel so self-conscious eating like that in front of cameras. It was really nice seeing like Karen and Giselle sort of get along
Sort
on
of,
the
but like
bus.
Karen was still talking so much crap on her in her confessionals.
Well, yeah. They had like some little moments. I mean, obviously they're still like feuding, but they had like some moments where I was like, oh, I can kind of see this friendship like where it used to be. I know it's never going to be that way, but like there was little glimpses.
There were little glimpses, and that's a friendship and a feud that I kind of love equally. So I'm fine with it either way.
Yeah, I thought it was, I mean, I do miss their friendship, but I love the feud. So I'm like, yeah, I'm fine either way.
It's like Mimi and Kim. It's good either way.
Yeah, true.
And then Candace and Mia made up, and Candace, pretended that she's really moved by everything Mia's saying. I think though this peace treaty won't last.
No, obviously, we know it's not going to last with their whole Twitter debacle, but it was nice seeing them make up and apologize to each other. And I feel like they both saw where each other were coming from. And I thought it was a pretty productive conversation. However, Mia's husband really,
Ugh. Like if Mia was my girlfriend and I came over to hang out with her and her husband, I would feel so uncomfortable being around Gordon. His behavior is really inappropriate.
he's like the new Michael. Like, I did not like how he was going at Ashley, but like maybe Ashley can get a glimpse of what her husband does to other people. Maybe that'll help her realize like
Yeah.
your husband's the same way. And then next week there's like a scene where she's like trying to seduce him.
I know. And he even says,
Like,
like, I'm really uncomfortable. And like, and even in season 3, she said, if I completely stopped trying on this relationship and said I'm done, this relationship would be done.
Yeah.
So the fact that they had 2 kids after that, I still think Michael would be the same. If Ashley said, Michael, I'm leaving, I think he'd say, okay.
Yeah, I agree.
So now we're going to head out of the East Coast and move into Utah to our Salt Lake City ladies. We're going to talk about first episode where the husbands all get together for a dinner, and then we'll move on to the next week.
Yeah, so this first episode was kind of boring to me. I didn't have a whole lot to talk about. Brooks and Jen had their sit down. I think they're both pretty full of BS. Meredith's reaction was pretty funny though. Her just sitting there watching.
I know. I was like, that's me. I would be doing the exact same thing.
I thought it was pretty ridiculous that Meredith had to like be right there though. Like she needs to let her son go to college and have her own storyline or do her own thing because I'm really sick of it. Whitney and Lisa, they had their little hangout and they had pie and bourbon. You know, we saw a little bit more of that on the next episode too. So
yeah, it all seemed really fake to me.
yeah.
I love Lisa, but she's been so mean to Whitney.
Yeah. And honestly, it's just not that exciting of a feud to me.
No, it's not. It's not a fun feud when it's just one housewife being desperate to be friends with another who's not interested. That's not fun. I want to see Kim and Nene tardy for the party drama.
Yeah, exactly. Or like Mary and Jen.
Then let's move on to Salt Lake City, the October 17th episode, where we're now seeing more of Whitney and Lisa, and they go to this restaurant owned by that couple that was supposed to cater Angie's party. Oh my God, that girl's acting. What was her name? I can't even remember. Aubrey, maybe? Oh,
Aubrey, yeah.
bad acting. Yikes.
Yeah. I mean, I understand what Lisa was trying to do, but like to make it seem like, oh yeah, we're just hanging out and we're gonna go to dinner and then have that like plan to have that girl come is shady. I think she could have confronted it a different way to make it, because then it just looks like she's like fake hanging out with Whitney just to like get this girl to tell her the side, but I don't know.
It looked so bad on Lisa.
Yeah.
And I know I say this all the time, but bless the Bravo producers when they did that like slow zoom in on Lisa laughing and then they made it like a simple laugh. Like that was so funny.
I was dying at that too. It was so funny. But I don't think it was all fake. Like I think that they did have a good time when they were doing the Cirque du Soleil thing or whatever that was called.
God, why are housewives so obsessed with doing those classes? We've seen that on Beverly Hills, OC. I feel like I've seen international housewives. Like they're all obsessed with going to these classes where you like get tied up in things and you like spin around like that.
You know what? Anything's better than a murder mystery party, so I will take it.
Yeah, we have seen way too many of those. I want more dinners from hell.
Yeah, right. We're starting to see a lot more of Mary, especially with her opening up, and it's been nice to see. It's obviously very apparent that her and Robert Sr. have little to no relationship. She's made it very obvious that she does not like, she celebrated him being gone. She's like, I will, if I could change him, I would change like everything about him. She's scared when Robert Jr. leaves for college because it's just going to be him and her. I mean, it's actually really sad. I mean, it's been apparent, but it's sad.
Yeah, it's sad when you like assume someone's really unhappy. And then when they actually are like, yeah, he was gone for a year. I loved it. I can't stand being around him. Do I want to know this person? No. It's like, wow, you're married to this person. This is the father of your child. It's just sad.
Yeah, like he sleeps in another room. I mean, it was apparent that like that relationship was more of a business transaction than anything, because last year when Andy asked her, she's like, what made her happy was like, oh, I like when he buys me a Chanel. Like everything was very materialistic with it. It's not surprising. It's just really sad.
It is. And I can't imagine that when her son, Robert Jr., sees his mother talking about his dad like that, that's not fun.
Yeah, if he even watches the show.
I'm sure at some point he'll see like a clip of his mom or somebody might show him. There's no way he'll never see his mom on the show.
Probably, yeah.
We saw the ladies go to one of those fish pedicure spas. I want to go to one of those so badly.
Yeah, I would love to go to one of those too, actually. And then I think we can both agree that like Heather's whole storyline this season is just so boring. Like,
Oh, I
honestly, I don't even like Heather has just gone so down in my rankings. I know that everyone like she's a lot of people's number one. I just don't even like care about her at this point. I know it's bad to say, but like she's done nothing.
her storyline's just so different from what I anticipated it to be. Like I thought it was going to be all about her like exploring dating and stuff. Like I just don't care
Yeah.
about her daughter going to college.
No, and it's like the
That's
sex
the story.
talk. I'm like, I know that like, it's different when you were raised Mormon and you're not really raising her that way, but like I just like I'm not connecting with Heather at all this season. Like, and she's not really done a lot with the other women either.
She hasn't.
So,
So the
but-
next thing we want to talk about, just a quick trigger warning because it does have to do with the storyline of Jenny and her husband Dewey and them trying to have children and him pushing her when she's had many miscarriages.
so I've predicted this, but like I always was saying that this was a fake storyline. And now one of Jenny's nieces actually went on TikTok and said like they're desperate for money. I've lived with them. I know that this is not true. Like basically saying that the storyline is fake. And I completely believe it. I mean, I think like Jenny wanted to get that trauma out, but she wanted to get it out more naturally so that they made it her storyline. But then, like, a lot of housewives have made that their storyline, but they don't push it this far to where he's like bringing up having a sister wife and like going really extreme with it. I mean, I believe her emotions are real with, the trauma that she went through with having a stillbirth, but everything else I think is so fake with her husband. And I really do think they're just doing it for a paycheck. So
I just think this is a really awful thing to be talking about if it's a fake storyline. Like, this is such a sensitive topic for so many people. And to just be like talking about it to make money as a storyline, I just think is a new low.
yeah, honestly, I think that Jenny will be a one season wonder. She really is like not doing it for me. It's this fake storyline. And then she hasn't really done anything with the women. Like, I don't know. I think she'll be a one season wonder. I'm predicting it now.
Well, you were right about the fake storyline thing. You were the first person who said that to me. So
Yeah.
you know what? I could definitely see you being right about this too, Michael.
Yeah. With how the season's going, like Jen's going to be arrested soon. She's just going to get more irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
So,
See that too.
and like Melissa faked this storyline, but she didn't have Joe be like, oh, let's have a sister wife. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and Melissa didn't talk about every episode that she had 9 miscarriages and a stillbirth, and they're just taking it to an extreme that is so inappropriate if this is just all fake. If this is real, then they totally deserve to talk about this. It's their life, it's their
Yeah.
experience. But if it's fake, then that's disgusting.
Yeah. Agreed. On that note, should we move on to our last show, which is Vanderpump Rules?
Yes. So Vanderpump Rules, we are at Rochella, aka Raquel's Coachella.
Yeah. So they're still in Palm Springs. I thought James's proposal was really cute.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm starting to like Raquel more than I ever did. It was really nice seeing her open up about like being so shy and like not even being able to like do a toast in front of her friends. Like I get that way a lot too. So like I understand it. I'm not like a super shy person, but I can get that way. So
I am too. I used to think she was vapid and shallow and just didn't really have any substance to her, but I don't feel that way anymore. I see a very kind person. Like when she said, "I'm not mean to other people. Why am I so mean to myself? I
yeah.
want to beat other people up. Why do I do this to myself?" So it's kind of funny when you hear someone say something so obvious, but it just hits you and resonates with you.
Yeah. Yeah. It was really nice seeing her open up. And we've been seeing more of Brock, and I have to say I'm not impressed. I think there are so many red flags, which is typical of a man of Sheena. But the fact that he's like fighting with her mom, and she's like, "Well, he's a Gemini and she's a Taurus." I'm like, "Well, Sheena, you're a Taurus too. She's also a Taurus, so I don't get how she's gonna say that."
Also, that's a terrible reasoning for why your fiance and mother aren't getting along.
Well, yeah, exactly. I'm just like, it's so not valid though.
Oh my God. Yeah. The fact that they have been together in this short amount of time. I mean, 2 years to be engaged, to have a child isn't that long, in my opinion. But to also to be having this like difficult relationship with her mom already too. It just
Well,
I don't want things to fall apart for Sheena.
the whole kids thing too, like that's just a huge red flag, especially when you're going to have a kid with someone. And I'm just gonna kind of start to segue into the next episode too. But I think Lala was very valid in confronting Sheena about it, and I think she went about it in the right way. I don't think she was like confrontational, but you could tell she was coming from a good place. Like, Sheena, you're having a kid with this man. Like, he's abandoned his two kids and he hasn't seen them in how many years? Aren't you a little worried that's going to happen with Summer? Like, and the other kid's name is Winter. Like,
I know.
oh my God, I can't.
Oh my gosh, it's bad. And when Lala's the voice of reason, things are getting pretty damn scary.
Right. I know I was saying I wasn't liking Lala, but I liked her a little bit more this last few episodes.
She redeemed herself a little bit.
Yeah, for me. Because I did feel like she does care about Sheena, and I felt like she went about it in a really good way.
Yeah, and usually that's not Lala's strong suit, is handling things in a tasteful way. So I thought the way she did this with Sheena was nice. And she is coming from like, and I think they showed it in the trailer for next week, but if someone tried to keep me away from Ocean, Lala's daughter, she's like, no one can keep me from my child. And she can't comprehend why Brock, from her vantage point, seems to be okay with the fact he hasn't seen his children in 4 years.
Yeah. And I mean, I agree. That's the way that it looks right now. I mean, I know that there's more to the story, but like, it looks bad.
For children, that's a huge chunk of their life. If you're 10 years old and your dad's been gone for 4 years, that's almost half your life.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's really sad. And I know people are exposing more about him, that like he moved to the US to like try to go into the NFL and it didn't work. But I don't know, it just seems kind of selfish.
It does. Like if you come to the US to try and make money and you're not making money, then
you go back.
Yeah, you go back to home to your family if this plan wasn't what you thought it was going to be. So
yeah, it's really sketchy. I also felt really bad for Katie this episode, just like with her having issues with fertility. I mean, it just must be hard for her. I mean, that alone is hard, but then the fact that like all of her friends just had a baby and she can't even get pregnant, I felt really bad for her.
Yeah, to have 4 of your best friends all have babies literally within months of each other is that.
Yeah.
And then Tom Schwartz posted that photo recently of her with them and their babies, and he was like, "Where's yours, Bubba?" And how dare you publicly say that when you know how much she's struggling with this? Like, I'm not even a Katie stan, and I'm sticking up for her.
Yeah, although I'm really liking Katie this season so far. And then with like her drama with Tom, it's just like I'm so like against Sandoval right now. Like, it's bad when even Ariana is saying, Tom, like, you're wrong.
I know Tom was like on Katie and Schwartz's side. I was like, yikes. And then Tom goes out in the back of Tom to smoke a cigarette. I was dying. I was like, that was, you know how many servers I used to see behind the dumpster smoking a cigarette? The chefs, the hosts, the waiters, everyone's out.
Everybody.
Siggy.
That's funny. But yeah, like he needs to stop with this grudge against Katie. It's annoying, but I kind of blame Schwartz for
I do too.
some of that too.
Schwartz he just doesn't have a backbone to stand up to either one of them. But the one he really can't stand up to even more than Katie is Sandoval.
Although I think that they did end up going with a name that wasn't Schwartz and Sandy's, so thank God for that.
Also, the fact that Tom split the 25K price tag for James's engagement, to spend that much money on someone else's engagement blows my mind.
I mean, how are you feeling about the season as a whole?
I'm enjoying it. I really am.
Yeah, I'm actually enjoying it more than I thought. I mean, do I think the show is going to be on that much longer? No, but it's better than I expected.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's going to get good with the Sheena and Brock stuff.
Yeah, I think so too. And like we said last season, it felt like they were trying so hard to like add in all these new people. It just feels like we've gone, even though we are missing Jax, Brittany, and Stassi, it still feels like we've kind of gone back to normal.
Yeah, and it's like they're not ever at the restaurant, and I think that's the weird part, but like it feels like they're more of like a closer group of friends now.
Yeah, it does. I also loved how much they were at Tom Tom, which we were just at, and
Yeah.
I saw how much they showed JoJo in it, who's one of these servers and bartenders at Tom Tom. He also is really big on TikTok.
Hmm. Yeah, it's cool to see that now that we've been to all these places. Well, now that I have. Well, that concludes our episode for today. We had quite a bit to get into since we had a little hiatus. But we will be back next week with more Bravo news and recapping more of the latest episodes, including potentially Winter House.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would definitely like to at least cover a couple of episodes.
Yeah, so stay tuned.
Yeah, so much good Bravo content coming. And as you know, we've got OC in Miami coming, which we, of course, will be covering.
And Girls Trip.
Oh my gosh, an Ultimate Girls Trip next month.
Well, luckily, there's only 2 more episodes of Beverly Hills. Not luckily, but like,
Speak for yourself. Lucky.
but then it won't be so overwhelming with all the new stuff.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We will see you next week.
Thank you. Bye.